here to MagFest, so he doesn't need help buying a plane ticket. But on the other hand, I live in Costa Rica, and I do need help buying the plane ticket. And I also need help, like, paying everything because I am a full-time student, which hopefully ends this semester, because I need to graduate and get a fucking job. Sorry. You have Jello? Oh, I am jelly. Oh, shut up. The hallway that left the cargo room headed straight towards the stern. Junpei and the other three proceeded down it silently. Some distance along it, a large room opened up on the left-hand side. It looked familiar. An iron gate covered each of the elevators. Junpei and his companions drew to a stop and began to discuss what their next move should be. We've seen this elevator before. That's what Nintendo made, huh? We got off the one on the left just a little while ago. Then we went through the number 6 door that took us to the engine room. Yes, and after that we passed through the cargo room. And now we're back here. In other words, we made a loop. We're back where we started. Junpei approached the elevator. Gently, he pushed the triangular button on the wall next to it. A moment passed. Ugh. The elevator door opened. And shut. Pushing the button had apparently restored power to the elevator. The elevator was now functional. What do we do? Should we return to the C deck? No, this hallway keeps going. Ah, but puns! I'm sorry, I really like puns though. I enjoy them too much. Even if we do end up going back, I think we should see what's down there first. I agree. Let's go. Their decision made Junpei and his companions left. Their decision made, Junpei and his companions left the elevator behind, and continued down the hallway. Sometime later, Santa, who had been walking several paces in front of the rest, suddenly stopped. Set in the wall in front of him was a door. So far as Junpei could see, there was no other way to proceed. It was a door or nothing. Alright, let's open it. Junpei took a deep breath, readied himself, then grabbed the doorknob and pulled the door. Chugga is the master of bad puns. Pretty much. He paused for a moment, then stepped through into the room, and there he saw the number that had hung over their heads since they'd woken up. Oh my god, guys. Like the numbers in every other door, this one, too, was a rough shape made of red paint. Its door was set into the back wall of the room. Junpei leapt toward it with a sudden burst of hopeful energy. Why is this music playing if this is... Why... It was a large double door, heavy and full of solemn importance. He grabbed hold of the door handle and shook. Nothing, but he hadn't expected to open. Why is the music this, then? If that's the door, why is this the music? The red sat on the wall next to the door. The screen read, vacant. Finally, they found it. Junpei felt himself overwhelmed by a torrent of emotion. At last, they'd found the exit, but cold gripped his heart, and he knew all too well why. As he stood, frozen, unsure of what to think or feel. Jumpy! Look! Behind you! He spun around, and he couldn't believe what he saw. It was a door with the number 9 written across it. What? Was there A second door? Why? Junpei's voice was barely audible even to himself. He stumbled towards the second door as if somehow compelled. It was a small single door. It sat in the starboard corner of the room, on the same wall as the door they'd entered from, but in the opposite corner. 9. There was no mistaking it. A rat sat on the wall next to this door as well. Junpei shook their handle pointlessly and muttered to himself, why the hell are there 2 doors? It was Santa who answered. There were always 2 doors. Just think about it. Zero never said there is only 1 door with a 9 on it. It is hidden, but an exit can be found. Seek a way out. Seek a door that carries a 9. Of course, we just assumed that there was only 1. After all, why would there be more than 1? Oh man. Jeez. Junpei was stunned. Zero's trick had taken him completely by surprise. There were 2 doors. That meant that all 9 people had met at the central staircase could escape and leave no one behind. Now the reason for the bracelet numbers being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 was clear. Divided in 2, the digital root for both teams would be 9. For instance, 1, 2, 7, 8 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. The digital root for both teams would be 9. Or 2, 3, 4, 9 and 1, 5, 6, 7, 8. There were many other workable combinations, but they all ended up the same way, with a digital root of 9. What did that mean? The answer was quite simple. From the very beginning, the nonary game was designed to save all 9 people. Zero hadn't been lying. Zero had never said there was only 1 door. But anyone who'd found themselves in the game would have assumed that was the case. Fights would have broken out. One team would likely betray or deceive the other. Someone might be hurt. Someone might get killed. But eventually, they would reach the room Junpei now found himself in, and realize the pointlessness of whatever violence they'd visit upon each other. There were 2 doors. No need to kill each other. They'd understand and be appalled, overwhelmed with guilt at what they'd done. Perhaps that was the purpose of this game. That was how the nonary game was meant to be played. And fortunately, they hadn't started fighting one another, at least not yet. But if one misstep was made, if the wrong mistakes happened, the stakes would rise and the noose would tighten. The thought of it sent chill down his spine. So, what are we going to do, Junpei? A voice broke through Junpei's frantic thoughts. Santa's voice. It brought Junpei back to his senses. No worrying about the future, he needed to figure out what they were going to do next. There were 4 people in the room, A, Santa, Junpei, and June. Their bracelet numbers were 1, 3, 5, 6. The digital root would be 6. In other words, the 4 of them couldn't open the door with the number 9. But what if there were only 3? Could the door 9 be opened with 3 of them? It took him no time at all to determine the answer. There was only one combination of 3 people that would have a digital root of 9. 1, 3, and 5. That would mean... No, we gotta go back. That wasn't a possibility he was willing to consider. Santa and Ace agreed. Yep, I agree. We cannot leave June behind. Junpei let out a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. Are you sure? I don't mind staying. June's body betrayed her true feelings. Her eyes were met with the beginning of tears and her legs shook. It's okay. There's no way we'd leave you behind. Santa had said that, what Junpei had known the moment he realized which 3 people could go through the door. Besides, I'd rather drown at the bottom of the ocean than escape with this sausage fest. Maybe I'll get to go to Atlanta. Are you to mean Atlantis? Oh, right. Perhaps it was the sudden reassurance that no one wanted to leave June behind, but Junpei laughed harder than he had in some time. Santa and I smiled. You guys. June blinked tears from her eyes and bit her lip. She didn't seem to know what else to say. Very well. Guess we head back to C deck then. We should be able to take the elevator we passed earlier. Perhaps Clover, Seven, and Lotus will have returned from door 1. They're fucking the rest of the people. Yeah, that too. Even as A spoke, they knew finding the others wouldn't improve the situation. There was no way they could split into teams that could both go through the doors. Ace knew it. They all knew it. But there was nothing else they could do. They would find the other 3 and search for another solution. All right, let's go. Ace looked at all 3 of them, then turned and headed through the door. Santa and June followed. Junpei started toward the door, then stopped. He'd been too busy with other concerns to notice the room itself. Didn't seem terribly important now, but what exactly was it? Junpei looked around the room, for the first time noticing that things were endorsed with 9s on them. The red carpet between 2 columns of the wooden branches had the length of the room. The carpet began at a large set of double doors and ran towards the bow. Junpei wasn't sure. Was it an altar, perhaps? There was a small rectangular alcove at the end of the carpet, and inside the alcove was a raised platform. Resting on top of the platform was a coffin. You see, because 9 and 2 died, because 9 and Snake died, now this is a mess. Because now it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, if there's a way to get 9 with 3 groups, then yes, everyone would be safe. But there isn't. It's a mess. It was a coffin. A coffin. What on earth was a coffin doing in a place like this? But before Junpei had time to answer that question. Hey Junpei! What the hell are you doing? Let's move! Santa's voice echoed from the hall outside. Right, okay. I'll be right there. No, because only 2 groups can go, yeah. If Snake didn't die, everything would have been fine. I guess. Junpei turned on his heel and left the quiet, somber room. Users had posted comics about FE, also started on 999. Didn't matter at all. Okay. What? Was that knocking from the coffin? Wait. Was that knocking from the coffin? They took the elevator up to C deck. Once there, they headed back to the main hall and the central staircase. Didn't take them long. Junpei found Seven and Lotus waiting for them. They didn't look happy. We've got a problem. Clover's gone. What? Junpei and his 3 companions looked at one another. He turned back to Seven and Lotus. What do you mean, gone? Maybe Black Santa was in there. Hope that's Snake and we can save him. No, remember that we saw Snake blown up? He literally blew up from inside in the shower room. Ugh, it was... Santa, Ace, and June had their own questions to ask. When? Why? You 2 went into door 1 with Clover, didn't you? Seven and Lotus responded as best they could. Yeah, we went through the door together, but Clover barely spoke to us. She just did her own thing the whole time. There were 4 rooms in the other side of door 1. She wouldn't let us into the 4th room. She said, I'll take care of this one, and shut the door. She must have blocked it with something on the other side. We waited for a while, but Clover didn't come out. We called for her, but she didn't answer. So I kicked down the door.